will have very little Democrat support, probably none. And that's purely for political reasons. They like it a lot, and they can't say it. They don't like what's happening, but they can't say it. Someday we have to come together and do bipartisan, and hopefully it can happen soon.
President Trump looking for his first big win since becoming elected to office. The GOP tax plan is close to getting passed, but is it the best thing for our country? Good evening, everyone. I'm Alan Cohen, and welcome to ABC 7 at 7. We'll have more on the week in Washington in a moment, but first, our top 7 stories at 7. Remember when the Confederate monument was moved in the dead of the night a few months ago in Bradenton after protests? Do you remember how workers accidentally broke it into pieces? A new estimate shows it will cost around $40,000 to fix the monument that became a major issue with many members of the public. Now, apparently, taxpayers will flip the bill to repair it, $41,000, according to the Sarasota-based Karen's Engineering Group.
It's broken. And the county, we need to fix it. I mean, it has to be fixed, obviously. So I think what you'll find is that we'll probably be trying to raise some funds from private entities to help cover the cost. I think that would be fair all the way around.
Where the monument will eventually end up is still TBD. Bao wants to see the issue go on the 2018 ballot and let voters decide. State Senator Bill Galvano is in talks with the state about relocating it to the Gamble Plantation in Ellington. An investigation is underway after an overnight shooting outside a Bradenton nightclub. The Manatee County Sheriff's Office arresting Demetrius Gabriel for the murder of Jarvis Isom. Detectives say Gabriel approached Isom at the Spot 26 club, shot him twice, and fled. The motive right now is unknown. An Osprey woman is being charged with manslaughter after detectives say she knowingly provided a man with opioids that later contributed to his death. Sarasota County Sheriff's deputies arrested Lisa Ross yesterday. She remains in jail without bond. This is the second time the sheriff's office has charged someone with manslaughter related to an overdose. A plan to help Sarasota's Pinecraft community preserve its unique way of life is moving forward. Sarasota County's Planning Commission has passed a zoning ordinance to create an overlay district for Pinecraft. The proposed district would allow residential parking requirements, home-based businesses like bicycle rental shops, and other exemptions to regular zoning rules. It's the county's response to a neighborhood plan submitted back in 2014.
There was a lot of hesitation at first by a lot of the community members because there just was, because of dealing with government. And they've gone way over the top with that, with the cooperation and the help and the processing of everything.
The zoning changes must now go before the county commissioners for 2 public hearings. Manatee County detectives are looking for a man they say broke into a dog grooming business in Parrish. The suspect was caught on a surveillance camera breaking into the dog grooming guru. Detectives are also looking for the suspect who entered the Browers Flowers on Center Road in Terra Sierra on Monday night. If you have information on either of these break-ins, call the number on your screen. Word tonight, Governor Rick Scott is not sold on challenging Senator Bill Nelson next year, especially after Republicans lost a high-profile Senate race in Alabama this week. While Scott has close ties to President Trump, he also remains adamant he was not among the Republicans who backed losing candidate Roy Moore in Alabama. Trump supported the controversial Moore, who was dogged by allegations of sexual misconduct involving teenage girls. Scott has yet to announce his run for Senate, but he is not closing the door.
I haven't made a decision about my future. That race is in 2018. It's still 2017. You can talk to the pundits about what they think about it.
Scott adds he believes Moore should have dropped out of the Senate race. Florida's Attorney General is warning parents to use caution when shopping for their kids this holiday season. Many children's gifts now have smart capabilities using wireless internet and GPS tracking technology. Because of this, parents can unknowingly be allowing criminals to easily access their child's personal information, including age, location, name, and voice. The Attorney General says the most dangerous toy is the My Friend Kayla doll. The product has also been pulled from most store shelves, but is still available online.
Parents just need to do their homework, do their research, and make sure that these toys that have internet capability are secure for their child's use.
Bondi says parents need to treat all internet-connected toys the same way they would treat computers and cell phones and monitor all usage by a child. Now let's head over to meteorologist Steve Newman with the first alert forecast. Steve.
Through the weekend, you have to thank this upper level low. It's a cutoff low that spun off from the main westerly circulation across the United States, and it's going to spin down there acting like a pump to put this moisture and warmer air into the southeastern United States. And that strong flow is going to keep all that cold air to the north of us, allowing us to warm up into the low 80s, maybe a little warmer than some people like, but it's definitely not going to be the cold that they're having up north, which we'll look at more closely later on in the newscast. There's a stream of rain right along the Gulf Coast in that subtropical jet, but that rain will not get anywhere near us. Even though a cold front is passing through the state right now, that rain will stay north as the core of the subtropical jet stays up to the north of us. And here is your future radar that takes us through the night, showing there will be nothing in the way of rain actually, but a wind shift when that front comes through from the northeasterly direction. That's drier air that will drop our temperatures overnight, maybe 5 degrees from what we saw this morning. But if you're going out this evening, a perfect evening on the Sun Coast to dine, walk the streets with temperatures staying in the 60s, the humidity's up. So in my view, the air is kind of like velvet right now when you go outside.
We should have put this on the air. I was telling you about the photo of my son in the New York area in college right now, in the snow with a look on his face, and I posted on Facebook. Looks like a kid who wants to get back home to Florida for a couple of weeks.
We'll look at that snow on radar later on in the newscast.
All right, thanks a lot, Steve. And still to come, the GOP tax plan is getting close to getting passed. How will this affect you?
Everything all right?
Actually, you know how Tom had knee surgery?
Sure.
We found out Brad's been taking his painkillers. And it turns out he's been doing it for a while.
Most people don't know what to say about drugs, but we do. Visit us at drugfree.org.
When it comes to drinking, what do you think moderation is? The U.S. Dietary Guidelines define moderation as up to 1 drink a day for women and up to 2 drinks a day for men. So what's a drink? The guidelines say a drink equals 12 ounces of beer, 5 ounces of wine, or a cocktail with 1.5 ounces of distilled spirits. Each contains the same amount of alcohol. Like to learn more? Visit drinkinmoderation.org.
It's the holiday sales event here at Alex Karras Lincoln. Drive a brand new 2017 Lincoln MKC Sport Utility for $269 per month or a 2017 MKZ for $279 per month. We have a great selection of certified pre-owned Lincolns. These vehicles have warranties up to 100,000 miles and come with complimentary roadside assistance. Alex Karras Lincoln, affordable luxury, winner of the prestigious 2015 President's Award, serving Florida's Sun Coast since 1978. We are located 2 miles north of the Sarasota-Bradenton Airport on US 41.
This is an important medical announcement. Xarelto and Pradaxa have been linked to uncontrollable bleeding and even death. If you've been prescribed one of these drugs and have experienced these dangerous side effects, you may be entitled to substantial compensation. Studies show that Pradaxa can cause more heart attacks than warfarin, and other countries have already issued safety warnings against this drug. Call now for a free assessment of your case and potential money damages. The call is confidential, there's no cost, and you may be eligible. Juries have awarded millions of dollars to Pradaxa victims, and thousands of Xarelto victims are filing their legal cases. Call the Drug Watch hotline if you or a loved one used Xarelto or Pradaxa and experienced uncontrollable bleeding, brain hemorrhage, or even death. You must call now.
Call 800-793-6055. 800-793-6055.
Check out mysuncoast.com/dining, your guide to the foodie lifestyle.
Republicans are releasing the details of their final tax plan, and they say they are feeling good about the chances of getting it passed before the Christmas holiday. ABC's Lana Zach has the latest in Washington.
President Trump says he feels confident that the tax bill will be passed next week.
I think we're doing very well. It's something that's going to be monumental. It will be the biggest tax decrease or tax cut in the history of our country.
And two major holdouts are now saying they're on board. But with a slim majority, the bill's future is not yet a done deal. Thursday night, Senator Marco Rubio threatened to vote no unless there was an expansion of the child tax credit. But now Rubio says the changes are sufficient and he'll support it. And another no vote has come around Senator Bob Corker, the only Republican senator to vote against the original bill. He announced late Friday that while he doesn't think the bill is perfect, he does, quote, think we are better off with it. And for their part, Democrats charge that the bill favors the wealthy at the expense of working and middle-class voters. They argue that the process has been rushed through in secrecy. Here's Democratic Senator Ron Wyden on MSNBC.
This whole process has been a sham. The fact is, this is a historically unpopular giveaway to the multinational corporations at the expense of the middle class.
But Kevin Brady, the chair of the House Ways and Means Committee, defended Republicans against that charge.
So the American people can look at the new tax code we're proposing before the House and Senate votes on it next week.
Republicans will also be keeping an eye on the health of two of their colleagues. Senator John McCain, who is currently hospitalized at Walter Reed Medical Center battling brain cancer, and Senator Thad Cochran, who had a non-melanoma lesion removed. But Senator Ron Portman says both are expected back for votes next week. Reporting from Washington, Lana Zak, ABC News.
Yet another member of Congress announced this week they won't seek re-election after being accused of sexual harassment. Tonight at the Trapezoid, the politics of harassment from the perspective of a Republican, Democrat, and a journalist, all women. In a moment.
If you're over the age of 50 and considering buying an annuity in the next 60 days, I have some important news for you. Don't buy an annuity until you understand the pros and cons of annuities. A free book to help you maximize your retirement income from television host and three-time author Josh Melberg has been released. This book reveals little-known truths about annuity strategies in simple-to-understand terms. Grab a pen right now because we are about to offer you this free book that unlocks the 5 little-known secrets we believe baby boomers and seniors should know before buying an annuity. Call 800-307-2040 now and you'll receive a free copy of Josh Melberg's book, Next Gen Annuity Strategies Revealed. As a bonus, we'll also send you the #1 mistakes retirees are making with their investments today, and a free DVD on how you can get up to 33% more income in retirement. Call 800-307-2040 to have your free information kit rushed to your door. Again, that's 800-307-2040.
The following message is brought to you by Mesobook.com.
People who have been diagnosed with mesothelioma have many questions. How did I get this disease? What are my treatment options? How will this affect my loved ones? You need answers, which is why we offer a free book written by medical professionals who have treated mesothelioma.
Call toll-free at 1-800-777-1366 or go to Mesobook.com.
Planning a Carnival Fantasy Cruise out of Mobile? Then check out the park and cruise packages at the luxurious Battle House and Renaissance Riverview Plaza hotels. Stay at the Battle House for $169 per night or the Riverview Plaza for just $149 per night and leave your car for the duration of your cruise. Includes transportation to and from the cruise terminal. If you're cruising out of Mobile, come stay with us. Call 1-800-MARRIOTT or visit Marriott.com now.
It's been about a month and I can honestly say I've seen the change in me. I went from being a depressed girl who didn't want help to this happy, caring girl who loves helping other people. I just really hope that people that went through what I went through get the help that they need because their story is important and they are loved. Thank you so much for everything.
Welcome back. For weeks, the question was, would Ruby Red Alabama elect a candidate accused of molesting teenage girls? It was a nail-biter, but the answer is no. Still, President Trump backed him, and Americans elected President Trump despite more than 13 women accusing him of improper sexual advances. While Harvey Weinstein, Kevin Spacey, Matt Lauer, Charlie Rose's careers came to sudden, inglorious ends, the same has not been true for many politicians. Yes, Al Franken is retiring, so is John Conyers. Now Texas Republican Blake Farenthold at the end of his term, mind you. But their demise has not been immediate or even certain. In fact, some Democrats and even some Republicans are openly questioning whether Al Franken should have resigned from the Senate. And joining us for more is Cheryl Wilson, chairwoman of the Manatee County Democratic Party, Lynn Larson of the Sarasota County Republican Party, and Kate Bradshaw, political reporter for Creative Loafing. Thank you all for being here tonight. So answer me this. As I set it up, you have so many people from media, from television, movies, journalism. As soon as these allegations have surfaced, they are out. But the process is so much slower when it comes to the world of the politics. And the question is why? Lynn?
All right, who wants to jump in on that one?
Or Cheryl?
I would think, Alan, there are probably a lot of different explanations for it, but the one that we tend to hear most often is that this is a voter decision, that it is up to voters to decide who represents them in Congress, and after that it is up to the body to do their investigations and to come up with some reputable and reliable reports and inferences and decisions, and it's been a very touchy area over the last several months.
Do you agree with that?
Not particularly. I believe very much that this is an issue whose time has arrived. It has certainly impacted politics as well as you say, many other industries, and I believe very much in the fact that we have to take the strong stand that the harassment and the sexual improprieties aimed at women in politics or in any field has to be believed and has to be addressed immediately.
Lynn, I have heard it observed that in cases where the man denies that he did it, there is less pressure on him to resign than people like Al Franken, who eventually say, look, my conduct was inappropriate and I'm taking responsibility for it.
I think it's a bigger problem than that. Number one, I don't think it's just a women's issue. I think it's a human rights issue, because I think everybody deserves to have a workplace that they can feel safe, they do not feel intimidated, whether they're male or female. They shouldn't have to work in any environment that's going to make them feel intimidated. So, but the problem is when you have someone alleging something from 30 years ago, and people's memories may change. Who knows? But things should be investigated. Things should be looked into, investigated before. People are. You know,
the obvious question is, should the allegations against President Trump be investigated?
Well, I think that those have been looked into, and I think they have, and the public has spoken. The voters elected him.
The age-old, the 30-year and the 40-year-old claims are part of the issue as well, though. There are reasons that women did not feel comfortable in speaking up, and that's as much of as a big part of the issue as the harassment itself.
Kate, when it comes to, let's say, presidential approval in our area, does the issue of those allegations matter to people, or does it fall mostly on partisan lines?
Well, I would say both. I mean, just in talking to people and what I see on social media, I think a lot of people, in bringing up Roy Moore, also say, well, what about Donald Trump? But yeah, I mean, I would say a lot of those people are Democrats or moderate Republicans. So, I mean, the reality of it is, yes, this does often fall along party lines. And they do, a lot of the Republicans that want to defend Donald Trump and say those women are liars are also quick to point the finger at Hollywood. So it's interesting. It's a mixed bag.
All right. We are just getting warmed up, and we'll have much more on The Week in Washington right after we check the First Alert weather. Stay with us.
Florida Studio Theater presents Mac the Knife, celebrating the spirited and immense talent of one of the greatest performers of the 20th century, featuring some of Bobby Darin's biggest hits such as Splish Splash, Beyond the Sea, Dream Lover, and of course, Mac the Knife. Critics say Mac the Knife is energetic, performed with great spirit, full of impressive arrangements. Audiences are calling it outstanding in every way. Mac the Knife is now playing. Tickets can be purchased by calling 941-366-9000 or by visiting floridastudiotheater.org.
This is an important medical announcement. Bard IVC filters have been linked to punctured veins and problems with migration. Anyone who's received a Bard IVC filter must receive medical monitoring and may be entitled to substantial compensation. If you have the Bard Recovery G2 or G2 Express filter, you are in a class of patients who should be compensated for some expenses. Call now for a free assessment of your case and potential money damages. This call is confidential. There's no cost and you may be eligible. Juries have awarded millions of dollars to people who should have been warned about the risks of the Bard IVC filters. Call the IVC Filter Hotline if you or a loved one has received an IVC filter and experienced a vein puncture or required medical monitoring. You must call now.
Call 800-329-3089. 800-329-3089.
A promise was made, a promise that hit the beaches of Normandy, a vow that captured Iwo Jima, a contract that weathered Tet, a pledge that stormed the desert in Iraq, an IOU that braved IEDs in Kandahar. A promise was made to America's veterans. DAV fights to keep that promise, so all veterans and their families get the benefits and support they earned. For help, visit DAV.org.
Want the latest weather and traffic conditions wherever you go? Introducing ABC7's revolutionary new First Alert weather app. With our state-of-the-art new weather app, you get up-to-the-minute weather alerts, interactive radar maps, current conditions, 10-day forecasts, real-time traffic maps, and weather video from ABC7, all at your fingertips. And it's free. Just search Suncoast WX in the App Store and download onto all your devices today. Sponsored by Mr. Sparky.
Our conversation on the week in Washington continues right after we get the check on the First Alert forecast with meteorologist Steve Newman. Steve.
Hi, Alan. We had a little cool wave come in about this time last week, and since then we've had wave after wave of cool weather. But today we have a pattern change that will last right on through Christmas. From our KCK cam, you can see a beautiful sunset this afternoon, and temperatures kind of mild with the sun coming out during the afternoon. And our current conditions over Sarasota Bay, looking live at our tower cam, 67 is the current temperature, dew point 64, and humidity is 90%. Across the state today, look at this, 76 at Tampa, 78 at Key West, in the 50s because of a cool front coming in from the north. And that cool wave is only going to bring drier air overnight. It's not really going to drop our temperatures for the weekend. If anything, they're going to go up day by day. 74 the high today in Sarasota and Bradenton, 76 in Inglewood. It's been as cold as 31 back in 2010, 17 years ago, or 7 years ago. I got to learn to count better. The actual low this morning was 60. We'll probably drop 5 degrees off that tomorrow morning. Now, here is the weather front approaching us from the northwest. Look at the dew points in the 50s ahead of it, the 40s behind it. It's just a dry front coming through. It will not have any precipitation coming across. And as we look across the Gulf of Mexico, we can see an advance of some moisture, but I don't think we're going to get any rain across our area. Although up in the northeast, Alan was mentioning his son up in the New York City area in snow. Look at that, swirling snow over the northeast, part of a low pressure moving offshore. It's part of a change in pattern that is seeing a little de-amplification of the jet stream, where it comes down deep and coming back up into Canada. A lot of snow over the Great Lakes right now, and temperatures quite cool too, although about 5, 6, 7 degrees warmer in Montreal than this time last night, warmer in Toronto as well. But what's going to happen? We got a big chill that is going to change our weather pattern over the whole country in the next week or so. That cold air is going to plunge over the western United States next week, and warm air will move over us. It's a whole, like a tilting of the atmosphere as the jet stream dives deep into Mexico. Now, what about our weather for Christmas morning as you open your packages at 8 a.m. Christmas Day in the low 60s? Looks like we'll be upper 70s to near 80 during the afternoon. Here's our weather headlines. A major shift in weather happening in the next few days, and that means we'll have a warming trend into next week and probably last through Christmas, and a long dry spell, unfortunately. We could use some rain. Here's our futurecast. At 7 o'clock tonight, the front still just to the northwest of us, advancing very slowly, high pressure building in behind it, giving us a brief pulse of dry air. The high goes out the Atlantic, the winds shift, and it warms up and moistens up again over the weekend, getting into the low 80s by Sunday and Monday of next week. No rain. I'd like to see a few showers, but it's not going to happen. Here's our forecast for tonight. Partly cloudy skies, our low temperature 55 degrees, the average is 54, light winds. And for tomorrow, a partly sunny to mostly sunny day, a beautiful day actually, with a high of 75. A lot of us think that's just about the perfect temperature for the middle of winter. It's going to, unfortunately, if you don't like it any warmer than that, it's going to warm up to about 80 degrees on Sunday, 81 Monday and Tuesday, cooling off a little bit by the middle of next week. But I can tell you the weather pattern is changing and it's going to get warmer. Alan will be back with his guest in just a couple minutes. Stay tuned.
Hi, I'm Joan London with A Place for Mom. Over the years, we've helped thousands of families find senior care, and today's senior living communities have never been better, with amazing amenities like movie theaters, exercise rooms and swimming pools, public cafes, bars and bistros, even pet care services. And nobody understands your options like the advisors at A Place for Mom. These are local expert advisors that will partner with you to find the perfect place and determine the right level of care, whether that's just a helping hand or full-time memory care. Best of all, it's a free service. Call today. A Place for Mom. You know your family, we know senior living. Together, we'll make the right choice.
Call A Place for Mom right now to get our free ebook on financing senior care, as well as a free referral for senior living communities in your area. Call 1-800-290-0352. That's 1-800-290-0352.
Patriotism. It inspires passionate debate. It's worn like a badge of honor with good reason, because it means love and devotion for one's country. But what really makes up this country of ours? It's the people. To love America is to love all Americans. This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Love beyond age, sexuality, disability, race, religion, and other labels. Because love has no labels.
My name is Julius. I have cerebral palsy. I work for Farmer Jeffy Weising Law Firm. I do a lot of data entry and scanning documents. I want to increase my working experience to make the company much better. At the end of the day, it's good to think of the day's work and to think about what I have accomplished.
Hi, this is Dan Marino. When your business recruits people with disabilities, everybody wins. To find out how, go to disabilitieswork.employflorida.com.
It's time to take a road trip.
If you love the beach, Alabama's Gulf Coast has 32 miles of sugar white sand and turquoise water. Looking for a room with a view? We have them. Beachside and bayside. There's incredible history. Whoa! And the seafood is fresh from the Gulf. Another round of shrimp for my friends. Yeah! Alabama has a road trip with your name on it.
Which one you gonna take?
Welcome back. It looks like the Republicans have the votes for their tax reform bill. It was a given, according to a new poll from the Marist organization. More of those surveyed believe the tax plan will actually hurt their family finances. And joining us for more is Cheryl Wilson, the chairwoman of the Manatee County Democratic Party, Lynn Larson of the Sarasota County Republican Party, and Kate Bradshaw, political reporter of Creative Loafing. We're going to get to tax reform in a moment, but there were some late developments this afternoon when it was announced that the president's attorneys are going to be meeting with the special counsel about the Russia investigation. The president made some comments about the investigation and about the FBI this morning, and we want to take a quick look at that.
I have nothing to do with Russia. Everybody knows it. That was a Democrat hoax. It was an excuse for losing the election, and it should have never been this way, where they spent all these millions of dollars.
So, Lynn, every intelligence agency does believe that the Russians interfered with the U.S. presidential election. The president's former national security advisor pled guilty, is cooperating with the government now, and the president at that very moment also says that he doesn't want to talk about a pardon for Michael Flynn yet. We will see what happens. What would you say if the president basically, pardoned Michael Flynn?
Well, what did Michael Flynn plead guilty to? He pled guilty to lying to the FBI, not into colluding with the Russians to trying to get Trump elected. So that's what we need to remember of what he pled guilty to. And so he did not disclose a meeting. That does not mean that he worked with them or that the Russian people got, or the Russian, I guess, hierarchy got Trump elected.
You know how this works. You plead guilty to a lesser charge in exchange for information, and you have to proffer, you have to tell prosecutors what you have to offer.
I think you're assuming that, and you make some assumptions.
Well, a plea bargain means a bargain.
Well, but you're making some assumptions, and really, I think that you need to see when the facts come out as to what it is. And as far as giving him a pardon, we have also, there's a lot of precedents for that, and Hillary Clinton lost all those emails, and nothing was ever done to her.
But do you think a pardon of a cooperating witness in the criminal investigation on the president's campaign would short-circuit the investigation? Wouldn't that in itself be an obstruction of justice?
I don't think that it's an obstruction of justice, and I think that it's really, they have been investigating and trying to find something, and I would like to see us move on to something that actually might benefit something. And, I understand we don't want Russia interfering in an election. We don't want that to happen. Let's see what we can do to prevent that from happening in the future.
Well, let me ask you, and I know, Cheryl, you want to jump in there, but there was another story today that broke that the president has not had a single cabinet meeting on Russia interference and will not take part in meetings to plan to make sure that it does not happen again.
That may I jump in? That's part of what I was thinking as I was listening to this. The story that struck me today was that the president gets angry when Russia is brought up in the briefings. And even the newscasters making those reports seem to just say that as a matter of fact. The president gets angry when Russia comes up. And I'm thinking, what does that mean? Does that stop the briefers from giving him the information? Does it change the information that they give the president? Does he cry? Does he jump up and down? Does he fire someone? What does he do?
Well,
does he push the nuclear button?
It's a bit different than that, since there is an ongoing investigation, and if he does meet and discuss it, whatever he says is going to be leaked, and it's going to become more a part of the investigation. So until this is settled, I can understand. Let it settle out before it...
But if you don't come up with a plan to prevent it from happening again because you're afraid to bring it up to the president, aren't you leaving the door open that it could happen again?
And the president needs the information.
Well, it's not just the president it's not just the president's job to come up with a plan. I'm sure it's staff and other people, Congress, etc. Where are they making a plan?
Okay. Kate, does this continue just to fall down partisan lines in terms of most Democrats see this and they get really angry, and then you have Republicans who say, move on, you lost, get over it?
Yeah, I would definitely say, like most things these days, it falls pretty strictly along party lines. And I mean, you have people like Pam Bondi and Matt Gaetz saying, look at all this corruption that's going on in the FBI. Bondi said it was worse than Watergate, the level of hijinks and corruption. And I mean, it's just interesting that they're kind of turning it into this, like, oh, the deep state doesn't like Trump and are conspiring to get rid of him. And I mean, that's just kind of this, long story short, party lines.
All right, Lynn, I mean, do you trust the FBI as a law enforcement organization?
I trust the FBI, but at the same time, the FBI came back with very conflicting information in the last end of the election. So
what do you mean?
Well, Hillary Clinton blamed the FBI for her losing the election.
I must have missed that.
Well, her supporters certainly. I imagine it had an impact.
Few of us said maybe if you'd gone to Michigan or if you'd gone to
there are lots of different
swing states, you might have done better. A few of us said that.
Let's turn to the GOP tax reform bill. News tonight, it appears that all Republicans in the Senate are on board, including Bob Corker, the senator from Tennessee, who said that he was not going to vote for something that would add to the deficit, and also Marco Rubio, who held back for an increase in terms of the child tax credit. So, Lynn, let me start with you. Polls show that less than half of all Americans are in favor of this particular tax reform plan, but it does not seem that the Republicans in Congress are slowing down in any way. If anything, they want to deliver it by Christmas.
We haven't seen the final plan yet, and they've tried to incorporate things that, you know, that the different senators wanted, as in Marco Rubio giving him what he wanted. We do need tax reform, and we need it for businesses. Businesses employ people. The corporations, we're giving corporate a break, but corporations employ people, and that's where the jobs come from. We need to bring jobs back to this country to make the country the best industrial nation in the world. We're not that anymore.
Cheryl, you know, economic growth has been not flat, but has not been robust. Won't this create jobs and hopefully bring salaries up?
We can only look at the projections, and I have yet to see anything that projects that that's likely to happen as a result of this particular bill. We know that it's going to create budget deficits. We know that it's going to reduce buying power of the people that are purchasing the goods of the companies and the services. We're seeing as you say, a rush to get it through before the end of the year that flies in the face of analysis, of economic interpretation, and of what, as you said, what most of the citizens want.
Kate, as I mentioned, the polls show that this, at least among the public, this bill is not overwhelmingly popular. What sense do you get out there, because you cover the entire Tampa Bay area,
right,
in terms of where people are falling?
Well, again with the party lines, but I mean, I definitely see a volume of people who think it's unfair, that it unfairly benefits the super rich. I mean, especially with the estate tax and large corporations, and that necessarily that level of savings on taxes doesn't. I mean, that's not really going to do much for. I think there's a lot of skepticism over whether that will lead to more hiring or higher wages. I mean, I think a lot of people need higher wages.
You know, Lynn, quickly, I saw a spot with Treasury Secretary Mnuchin asking corporate CEOs, will this result in higher salaries for your employees? And most of those CEOs said, no, we're going to return it in terms of dividends, not to the employees, not in terms of new jobs. Is that part of the problem?
Well, dividends go back to the people, and a lot of the people back here, you know, a lot of the people in your viewing area are living on those dividends, and a lot of the people who are retired depend on those dividends to, you know, to fill their grocery cart.
There are a lot of middle-class families over here who need higher salaries because they can't pay their bills.
I believe it was one of the pizza guys who said, no, we'll reinvest it, put it back into the dividends rather than putting it into the employees. And the people that consume those pizzas are the families that are making under $75,000 a year. And the projections are that, you know, it's kind of like the introductory rate on a credit card. You get the tax break for a couple of years, but in 10 years, those 75,000 and under people are going to be paying more in taxes.
But there's nothing to say those people are going to be paying.
We're going to continue our conversation. Back with final thoughts when we return. Stay with us.
Thank you.
Christmas Traditions by Lux Art Silks, where more is merrier. Make your holidays sparkle with style. Browse our amazing showroom, cute collectible cottages, and beautiful Christmas displays. Find the inspiration, selection, and quality you need to deck the halls merry and bright. Christmas Traditions also features the area's largest selection of quality pre-lit Christmas trees, every size, shape, and color, and plenty of decorations to make your home shine for the holidays. Christmas Traditions by Lux Art Silks, where more is merrier. Visit us on New 301, just a quarter mile north of University Parkway.
Attention type 2 diabetics. The FDA warns of an increased risk of amputation associated with certain diabetes medications. If you took the diabetes medications Invokana or Invokamet and then suffered an amputation or one of these other serious injuries, call the Rely On group right now. If you've suffered amputation or any of these other injuries after taking your diabetes medication, call the Rely On group today. You may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. Call 800-604-1698. That's 800-604-1698.
Monday at 5 on ABC7's Good Morning Suncoast.
Hello, I'm Stephanie Webb.
And I'm Ray Collins. We'll have details of an East County middle school community meeting in Manatee County.
We're going to get a preview as they talk more about their new middle school that's opening in 2019. That's Monday on Good Morning Suncoast. Josh?
And I think you'll like the very mild conditions in the forecast for next week. We'll have the details.
Monday at 5 on ABC7's Good Morning Suncoast. We're here for you.
Who else has been taking your prescriptions? Keep your medicine and your family safe and secure. Mind Your Meds. To learn how we can help, visit the Partnership for Drug-Free Kids at drugfree.org.
Check out My Suncoast Dining on mysuncoast.com, your guide to the foodie lifestyle. ABC7's own Chef Judy serves up her favorite recipes, cooking tips and trends, dining blog, step-by-step videos, and Suncoast Restaurant Guide. You'll find it all at mysuncoast.com/dining.
And our guest joining us right now for final thoughts. There was one more thing I wanted to get tonight, and that was usually you do not see the hearings on TV for Senate appointees to the federal bench. The president is making a lot of appointees to open seats on the judiciary. And then this happened. Yesterday, questioning by a Republican senator from Louisiana to one of President Trump's picks for the federal bench.
Have you ever tried a jury trial?
I have not.
Civil?
No.
Criminal?
No.
Bench?
No.
State or federal court?
I have not.
Do you know what a motion in limine is?
I would probably not be able to give you a good definition.
Do you know what the Younger abstention doctrine is?
I've heard of it, but again,
how about the Pullman abstention doctrine?
I heard.
You'll all see that a lot in federal court. Okay.
Great TV, Kate, but does anybody care?
I think a lot of people do. I saw it shared multiple times on social media today. I mean, I think it's gone viral. Yeah, I mean, I think people care that that the president is appointing people that have no frame of reference and no experience, that's or little to no experience that's pertinent to the position.
Lynn, again, that was a Republican senator doing the questioning
Yes.
there. How can you rationalize someone who has so little information about basic 101 things in terms of the legal system becoming a federal judge?
The only thing I could tell you is he probably did a wonderful job as an administrator, and perhaps maybe he needs to stay an administrator. But he probably did a very wonderful job as an administrator, and he had not been a trial person, and I'm sure there's very, very many people that would be very well qualified that could be replaced, and I expect that he probably will step down
Cheryl,
and withdraw.
The president has the right to appoint or to nominate whoever he wants to.
He does, but we have expectations of the president as well, and that's that he nominate people who are qualified and competent and capable to do the job that he's appointing him to. That was painful to watch from many aspects. It was painful for the nominee, I'm sure, to sit there, but it was probably more painful for the American people realizing that these are the types of appointments we're getting.
And these are lifetime appoints jobs. So. Ladies, thank you very much for joining us.
It was good.
Before we go, we want to share with you what some of you had to say about last night's show on a local couple's battle over a treehouse. Homeless Beach has spent tens of thousands of dollars on lawyers to force a local couple to tear down their treehouse after someone complained about it. Now the couple is taking the fight to the U.S. Supreme Court. And here's what some of you have to say. Catherine says, tens of thousands of dollars to take down the treehouse? Really? Well, the disgusting shocking waste of money. And Janet says, I think that it looks pretty cool when I walk by it on the beach. And Adam says, just remember, folks, you guys voted for these people, and this is how they are spending our hard-earned tax dollars. George says it should stay. The construction of it was approved. If that was a mistake, it's the city's mistake, and they should just live with it. Well, if you'd like to join the conversation about tonight's topic, just visit our Facebook page at facebook.com/mysuncoast.com.abc7. FYI, you can watch past discussions on demand. They're available on Apple TV, Amazon Fire, and Roku. And for the latest local breaking news, don't forget to download the updated version of our app. If your current app doesn't work, it's expired. Just go to the App Store, re-download it by searching for WWSB or My Suncoast. We want to thank all our guests for being here tonight. Cheryl Wilson, who is the chairwoman of the Manatee County Democratic Party, Lynn Larson of the Sarasota County Republican Party, sorry, Lynn, and Kate Bradshaw, the political reporter for Creative Loafing. When we return, we'll have a final look at your weather. Plus, President Trump spoke highly about law enforcement while at the FBI National Academy. But when it comes to the FBI itself, not so much. Stay tuned.
Florida Studio Theater presents Mac the Knife, celebrating the spirited and immense talent of one of the greatest performers of the 20th century. Featuring some of Bobby Darin's biggest hits, such as Splish Splash, Beyond the Sea, Dream Lover, and of course, Mac the Knife. Critics say Mac the Knife is energetic, performed with great spirit, full of impressive arrangements. Audiences are calling it outstanding in every way. Mac the Knife is now playing. Tickets can be purchased by calling 941-366-9000 or by visiting floridastudiotheater.org.
I heard about the Detoli Cancer Center through friends of mine who had been treated here and were very pleased with the treatment.
If there is prostate cancer, we at the Detoli Cancer Center will find it using 3D color flow Doppler ultrasound.
And that helped precisely identify where my cancer was. I can tell you that you will not find a finer, more professional team of clinicians anywhere in the world.
Credit card debt can ruin your life. If you owe $10,000 and minimum payments are siphoning away your paycheck each month, you can get debt-free in less time than you think.
I've paid $800 a month for the past 3 years and haven't changed the balance on my credit card.
Get debt-free now has a program to reduce your debt, stop the harassing phone calls, avoid financial ruin, and settle for less than you owe.
I feel like a huge weight has been lifted off my shoulders.
You're pre-approved for our special hardship program if you owe $10,000 or more. Upon payment of your new lower balance, your debt will finally shrink until you are debt-free.
My family no longer has 30 years of payments ahead of us at 20% interest.
There's no fees until you see results. So call now, make one monthly program payment, and free up your cash. Resolve your debt.
Call 800-685-6422, 800-685-6422.
Your primetime headlines are coming up in a moment, but right now let's get a final check on the first alert forecast from meteorologist Steve Newman.
Alan, I've already started to make plans to hit the beach this weekend, because what else are you going to do when it's like 81, 82 degrees in the middle of December on the Sun Coast? That's a pretty nice thing to do, to go to the beach. Although the water is a little chilly, the air will be like velvet, as it is this evening at sunset. And we look live at the tower cam on top of our ABC7 studio tower. It is currently 67 degrees, dew point 64, humidity's up there at 90, but we'll have some drier air filtering in overnight, meaning our lows will be a little bit cooler than we saw this morning. And they were up in the Panhandle behind the front in the 40s, 63 at Tampa. Across our viewing area, our low this morning 60, will probably be 55 for this tomorrow morning's low. Drop another 4 or 5 degrees in these other stations as well. I don't know how it happened, but we got one click on the rain gauge at the airport. I live just a few thousand feet from there, and I didn't get any, but that makes us up to 1.05 for the month of December, one of our driest months of the year. We're still in a deficit there, but for the year, we're above normal. We're going to reset that after January 1st, though. Here's a weak front, and it will pass through tonight and early tomorrow morning, just bringing in drier air. No rain, although there's plenty of rain along the Gulf Coast, and there's plenty of snow in the northeast. Looks like Boston's going to escape, other than just a few flurries. Cape Cod's going to get a very stormy night with snow, as will Long Island and southern Connecticut, New Jersey getting hammered. So that will end by tomorrow, and things will dry out, at least for a little bit. It's also going to be very cold. 25 at Toronto, 12 at Montreal. But that's going to shift west. We're going to have a big shift in the weather patterns that will bring cold air to the Rockies by Christmas Day and keeping us warm here on the Suncoast. This is the current weather pattern showing another minor storm in the Great Lakes producing mainly lake effect snow because of the wind direction as a result of the circulation around that low and high pressure in the west. We have a weather problem out west, and that is this little dip. It's like a buckle in the jet stream, very narrow, coming in at a negative tilt. And having done the weather out there for many years, that can create this time of year very strong winds. And unfortunately, it hasn't rained for a while. The danger for wildfires is very high. There's a red flag warning out for the San Francisco Bay Area. They've already been devastated by wildfires earlier this year. They don't need any more, but it's going to be a very dangerous night there. And in Southern California, the Thomas Fire around Santa Barbara has already blackened a lot, and they're going to get strong winds as well. So we will hope for the best for our friends in California, that they get through tonight and tomorrow without any more outbreaks of wildfires. Here on the Suncoast, no wildfires, no rain, and no real significant weather problems for the next few days as we undergo a major shift in weather patterns. It's going to cause a warming trend that will last into next week and then kind of level off. And then also it means a long dry spell. We may have some wildfire problems in Florida later on this spring if we don't get some rain. Well, here's a future cast of that front coming through tonight, delivering drier air for a while on northeast winds. The high goes offshore and brings more of a moist onshore flow tomorrow and on Sunday, warming us up, moistening us up, but not enough to bring any rain. Here's my forecast for tonight. It'll be fair to partly cloudy skies and winds fairly calm. You'll see a light shift to the north after midnight. 55 the low temperature, and for tomorrow a partly sunny and mild day. High temperature 75 with east-northeast winds at 5 miles per hour. Here's your 7-day outlook. Look and see for yourself. Low 80s over the weekend, early part of next week. Doesn't look like we're going to have big changes in the weather right on through Christmas Day. Alan will return with primetime headlines in just a couple of minutes. Stay with us.
Love your couch and want to protect it from spills, food, and scratching, shedding pets. Introducing Couch Coat, the reversible, washable quilted cover that protects your couch. Shield against spills. Wow! Stop stains and dirty pet paws and sharp claws. Plus, it's reversible with 2 stylish colors. Guaranteed to fit any couch up to 92 inches or your money back. It even has covers to protect armrests. Machine washable too.
My grandkids destroy everything, but with Couch Coat, my couch is always protected, looking as good as it did the day I bought it.
Get your Couch Coat for just $19.99, and it's reversible in brown and cream, like 2 couch coats for the price of 1. Order right now and you can double your offer. Get a second Couch Coat. Just pay a separate fee. Order right now.
Call 1-800-943-0710 to get your couch coat. Call now or go to couchcoat.com. So call 1-800-943-0710. That's 1-800-943-0710. Call now.
The skills you develop as a soldier in the Army National Guard can give you a head start on your career. Gain practical experience with technology and equipment that will give you a leg up in the civilian world. Learn critical leadership skills and to be part of a team. Serve your community and your country part-time while earning money for an education. Visit NationalGuard.com to learn about the paid training and career opportunities available to you in the Army National Guard.
Meet Blue. Blue's not feeling well. The prescription? Generic medication. Blue wonders, do they really work as well as name brands? Yes, generics and name brand medications do work the same. Even though they may look different, generics have the same key ingredients. FDA approval is equally rigorous for generics to make sure they're as safe and effective as name brands. And Blue even saves some green, making him a little less, well, blue. Talk to your doctor about generics and visit fda.gov/generic drugs.
Here we go. We're going to go out there in the rain. You're going to get wet. All right, here we go. Okay, quick. Oh, yeah. Yes. So much fun. Mwah. We're getting so wet.
Checking primetime headlines, President Trump was at the FBI National Academy today amid heightened tensions with the Bureau. ABC's Kenneth Moten reports from the White House.
Those tensions between President Trump and the FBI have been building since before the election and only worsened after the firing of FBI Director James Comey. President Trump once again criticizing the FBI after recent allegations of political bias.
It's a shame what's happened with the FBI, but we're going to rebuild the FBI. It'll be bigger and better than ever.
The president responded to anti-Trump text messages between an FBI agent and an FBI attorney who once worked on special counsel Robert Mueller's team. The messages sent while Trump was running for president.
It is very sad when you look at those documents, and how they've done that is really, really disgraceful.
Those comments on the South Lawn made before the president took off for the FBI National Academy in Quantico. Trump addressing local law enforcement from across the country who graduated from a 10-week FBI program.
Now, more than ever, we must support the men and women in blue.
Those supporting words, a stark contrast to the president's comments about some federal law enforcement. On stage, leadership from the FBI and DOJ targets the president's frustrations in the wake of the Russia investigation. Trump recently said the reputation of the FBI was, quote, in tatters, worst in history. President Trump's legal team has called on Attorney General Jeff Sessions to appoint a special counsel to investigate allegations of political bias within the DOJ. Kenneth Moten, ABC News, the White House.
President Trump's nominee to become a federal district judge for the District of Columbia has gone viral for all the wrong reasons. Matthew Spencer Peterson was questioned by the Senate Judiciary Committee on Wednesday. One member, Louisiana Republican John Kennedy, asked Peterson basic questions about the law and his legal experience, and Peterson appeared to struggle with, well, pretty much all of it.
Have you ever tried a jury trial?
I have not.
Civil?
No.
Criminal?
No.
Bench?
No.
State or federal court?
I have not.
Do you know what a motion in limine is?
I would probably not be able to give you a good definition.
Do you know what the Younger abstention doctrine is?
I've heard of it, but again,
how about the Pullman abstention doctrine?
I heard.
You'll all see that a lot in federal court.
Senator Sheldon Whitehouse, a Democrat from Rhode Island, posted the video of the exchange to his Twitter page, writing, quote, must-watch Republican at Senator John Kennedy asked one of real Donald Trump U.S. District Judge nominees basic questions of law, and he can't answer a single one. Hoo boy. President Trump and his former political strategist Steve Bannon are now urging Roy Moore to concede the Alabama Senate race. Doug Jones narrowly defeated Moore in Tuesday's election, becoming the first Democrat to win a Senate seat in Alabama in more than 2 decades. But Moore says late counted ballots could change the results. He urged his supporters to, quote, stand against those who would take from us our country. Bannon, who was one of Moore's longest and most fervent supporters, told Moore's campaign that he needs to concede. The man accused of running over a crowd protesting a white nationalist rally in Virginia is now facing a charge of first-degree murder. James Fields was initially charged with second-degree murder. He's accused of plowing a vehicle into a crowd of counter-demonstrators in Charlottesville in August. Heather Hare, a 32-year-old Charlottesville paralegal, was killed. 36 others were injured. Prosecutors announced Field will now face a first-degree murder charge and can face a sentence of 20 years and life in prison. And that's all the team we have this evening. Have a great weekend.